This is a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast.
We are looking at the future of the events industry this morning because of an interesting suggestion that the future events might not be digital and it might not be in person. It might be a mixture of both. Hybrid events. We are joined now online by Peter Hall, Regional President of Informa Markets, the company behind such mega events as Arab Health and Cityscape. Peter, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Brandy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? How have the past 3 and a bit months been?
Quiet. We ran our last show globally in about mid-March, and then we haven't really run anything since then. We've started trading again in China, which is good. Ran an event in Chengdu 2 weeks ago, and have another big event in Shanghai coming up. But it's been pretty quiet. We typically run 600 exhibitions a year. So it's been a big shock to the business.
So how have you used that time? I presume you're not just baking sourdough. What's Informa been doing?
We've actually been incredibly busy. We've done a tremendous amount of market connectivity work online. So where we operate in so many different market sectors. The job we've really been focusing on over the last few months is connecting those markets digitally, and in various ways, either through our content platforms or through virtual events. We've run numerous virtual events. We just ran a very big global initiative last week on healthcare market called Omnia Health Live. And it was 75% international. It was a UAE-based initiative. Our team's here in the UAE, but we had 75% international attendance. About 20,000 attendees to the event, which we ran virtually. Speakers, including Tedros Ghebreyesus from WHO. So we've been very busy with that. But yeah, your point about hybrid is quite an important one, because what we have found is that the digital events have been great as a way of getting markets together during a time when people can't meet. But the future is very much physical. And it's how we then augment that with digital offerings, which is something that's been part of our strategy at Informa for many years, actually.
What do you think that might look like, Peter? I realise I'm asking you to get your crystal ball out here.
So, certainly one thing's for sure is there's a huge appetite for our events to come back online. Despite the efforts we've made to bring communities together digitally, there's a huge appetite for getting together in the traditional sort of physical exhibition space. But, we do recognise that times are changing, and there will be participants, at least in the short term, that can't visit our exhibitions for one reason or another. So we want to be able to host our events in a safe way, and we've got a plan for that I can talk you through. And then also offer sort of content online while we're also offering the content during the event days. And also quite a major part of the sort of business model online is matchmaking. So how do we match buyers and sellers effectively through our digital platforms? And that's something that we're developing quite a lot at the moment, because ultimately our business is about bringing buyers and sellers together across multiple different niche markets.
How do you replicate the almost accidental path crossing of an exhibition, which is, of course, one of its most valuable functions, the people you bump into? Yeah.
Look, I think that's a good question, and we've talked a lot about serendipity over the last few months, because it's always been something that we've never really known was a good thing or not, because you go to an event and you may have your most important customer may also be at the event, and you may not bump into them. So serendipity works against you sometimes too. But I think that is something that's very difficult to recreate online. And it's something that our industry and our markets are really missing, because that's where you really get sort of stimulation and innovation is when you go to an event and you meet people you weren't expecting to meet, you see products you weren't expecting to see or you weren't planning to see, and that takes your business in a new direction. And that's the magic of events that is it's very difficult to recreate online.
So what did you do then? If we take Omnia, the 20,000 people listening to, as you say, education sessions and the rest of it, how did you handle the social aspects of that?
So every visitor or participant to the platform registered various demographic information about themselves as they logged in to say what they were interested in, nature of business, types of companies they wanted to meet with. And then we would then run a sort of a AI-backed matchmaking tool that would suggest meetings. People could then find each other on the platform and arrange to meet each other through the sort of webinar software that we had built into the platform. So people could we had about 2,000 meetings taking place over the week. And that's how it works. So you could find people, you could look for people you can search for products, and then you could find companies, and then once you find the company, you can see the list of representatives, and you can arrange to meet with them. So it's actually kind of reasonably similar to a physical format, as you would expect, but it feels different.
Last question. We've only got about 20 seconds. What do you think is going to be the big change, the one key change, when and if we do go back to physical events?
Well, we're definitely going back to physical events because Dubai is now already open. We are running Cityscape in November. The change in the short term is we're going to be implementing a number of sort of measures to ensure that the events are safe. So that's from physical distancing, protecting and detecting on entrance, cleaning and hygiene, and making sure that everyone is getting the right information about how to protect themselves. So that's going to be the change in the short term. Long term, it's probably going to focus markets a bit more, maybe some consolidation long term.
Peter, I'm going to have to leave it there, unfortunately.
Okay.
Peter Hall, Regional President of Informa Markets, thanks so much for your time this morning.